everybody. I think we're still waiting for a couple people to come on. And I think we're, I'm just thinking who's not here. Donna's not here. I see Robin and I see Erica online. And Jenny's online. Coming to us from the high school gym, it looks like. But Mike's here. I guess I think we have a quorum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, definitely. Okay. Well, we can get started. We'll call this meeting to order. I just sort of did roll call, but I think from what I can see, we're missing Samantha Hills, which I kind of knew she wouldn't be able to make it. And Donna Latinsick is not here. But otherwise, I think everyone's here either in person or on Zoom. The first thing to do is approval of minutes. And I think I sent you guys all the minutes from June 27th. So if somebody wants to make a motion to approve those, we can move on.
So moved.
All right, any second?
I'll second.
For seconds. Any discussion minutes, anything that you guys would like to see added or clarified or any issue? No? Okay, so I guess we'll take a vote. All in favor of approving the minutes from June 27th, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Okay, so Erica opposed.
Let's say Robin was saying something.
Oh, Robin, you're on mute.
I said aye.
Oh.
I abstain.
Okay. All right. And as far as I know, Mike, we don't have minutes from.
No, I didn't get them done yet.
From July 11th. So we'll leave that on there and handle that next time. In terms of correspondence, I know I got an email from the library board of directors with just some, additional things that they would like to submit if we open back up again to accepting applications. And I also got an email from Jenny Arpin, who said that they'd like us to consider adding more funds for summer camp for the out years. And so I think we can talk about that when we get to it. And then otherwise, I don't think I had any correspondence other than just people saying if they could be here or not. So under new business, we don't have any requests to be received or heard. So while our funding requests are paused, so we can move on from that.
Christina.
Yeah. Oh, right. Present to speak. Yes, present to speak.
We don't have anything welfare, but we could keep former selectman Jim McCool in our thoughts and prayers. Mike's father and Mark's dad was stricken this weekend, in the hospital fighting. So just that's it. That's all.
Yeah.
As we deliberate.
All right. Thanks. Anyone else here present to speak? Lisa Marco.
Elizabeth Wolf.
All right.
That's
That's right.
65 Glasgow Road. I also, I've lived in town for 27 years, and I'm the alternate of the Board of Finance. I wanted to come forward and say that I have concerns about the use of the ARPA funds. I was taken aback that the committee didn't take the direction of the chair or the chair of the finance to bring it forward to the town for a town vote. I think we all know what the American Rescue funds are for, and to keep it from the townspeople and their vote, I think, is a misuse of funds. So I went this morning to the Office of the Inspector General, U.S. Treasury, and they opened an allegation of misuse of funds and misappropriation of funds. And so the conclusion on that would be they could do their investigation and find that the allegation is unsubstantiated, or they can find that the allegation is substantiated. And so there's oversight to these funds. And I think it's important as a taxpayer in town that those that pay taxes in town have a voice. And so that's what I'd like to say. Thank you.
Anyone else? Don Berg.
This is Don Berg, 34 Red Oak Hill Road. Not sure if it's a person to speak item, but I just wanted to note one thing on our application. I don't know if I should do that now or do it later. but-
Oh, you can do it now.
Okay, I'll just note that I had talked to Eric Peterson before the weekend, and the senior center is also tied into the sewage ejector pump that services Button Hill. So that our building 12 that powers that sewage ejector pump does our sewage for all of Button Hill as well as the senior center. And I'm not sure that the senior center was in your piece of information with regards to sewage. So
Okay.
I thought I'd bring it up now.
Okay, thanks. Anyone else from the board or from the public? Anyone online? I guess you can raise your virtual hand if there's anyone who wanted to say something. I don't see any virtual hands. Okay. All right. Last chance. Anyone? All right, we can move on then. New business. Okay, so we have no new business. There's nothing to receive or hear. Yeah. But in an unfinished business, I have requests to be closed, but checked with Donna. We're not quite ready to close on anything right now. We're very close to being able to close on a couple of these projects, and it looks like we're gonna be able to return almost $20,000 just based on a couple of projects that have come in under budget. So that's good news, and that money would just get added right back to the bottom line, but we can't officially close them until they actually have been paid. So we have invoices now, but the checks haven't been cut, so maybe next meeting we'll have a few to do. And then updates on the previously funded requests. I'm not gonna read through all of this, but it's all in the agenda. If anybody has any questions or anything they want to add about any of these items. But basically, I got updates from all of the requesters, and that's what's listed here. We're very close to ordering some things. And I don't know, Erica or Donna, if has the money the second tranche come yet? No. Any word on when it will?
The last update I had was from Martin Heff's office at OPM on July 7th. Just that the state had 30 days to turn the money over to us. And they had asked for some updated information from the town, which we provided. They asked of every town, but he didn't have any more of an update than that. So he didn't even indicate that the state had their funds, just that once the state had their funds, they have 30 days to turn it over to towns.
Okay. So that's not good news for the projects that we had approved, but to use from tranche 2, because you just can't order them yet because we don't have the funds yet. But we thought that was going to be July 1st, and we're still waiting. But nothing changes in terms of how those are approved. So any updates on the previously heard requests? Just the repair of the library building structure. Just a reminder about that one. That came in after the agenda had gone out for the last public hearing. So it's not something that we can decide on because we haven't had a public hearing on it yet. So that's on the bench basically for the next one. And then the updates on requests heard at public hearing. These are all the items that we heard at the meeting last week, and I don't know if there's anything anybody wanted to add to any of those items. But the next thing on the agenda would be to do possible action, and that's where we're gonna possibly be approving or not approving some of these items, so. Any new information? I mean, Don just gave us new information on the septic
Yes.
and the generator. I haven't heard any new information about any of these things. Okay, well, then I think we can move on to the, to deciding about some of these funding things. And I thought about the best way to do it, because I think if there's, I think if we decide, if there's a few things that people don't want to fund or want to fund at a lesser rate, maybe we should talk about those first, because then we'll know how much money is freed up from the overall. So I think that's the best way to do it. Does anybody disagree with that or think we should do it differently?
Well, I don't understand the procedure. So this committee can do three things: approve, four things: abstain, approve, not approve, or approve for a lesser amount.
Yeah, yeah. So we could say, you know, I'm just picking this out of the air. Technology upgrades at the senior center. They asked for $3,000. We could say, we only have 1,500, so we'll approve that for 1,500. But I'm not suggesting we do that, because 3,000 is a very small amount and it's not going to make a big difference, but someone can make a motion to do that, or someone can make a motion to just say not to fund one of these things. Or
So going into this, if I may, what do all these represent in terms of dollars, and how much money do we have to allocate in terms of dollars?
so all of these things, it's $726,729. We only have 500 as of today, because we don't have money that's being returned from these other projects yet, but $583,982 left. So there's a deficit of $170,000. So we cannot approve all of these at the full amount, because we would be $170,000 short. So,
Well, the result of the discussion, there was no result of discussion, but the discussion last meeting on ARPA 38 was not real positive, as I recall.
mhm.
So did he have an option to withdraw the proposal?
Mike, are you talking about Mike McHugh?
For the select-
Or the selectmen. The selectmen are the ones that made the request.
Right. That would be in my update tonight in the selectmen's meeting. The selectmen haven't met since that public hearing. That meeting will happen tonight. But my recommendation to the board would be that we, at this time, either pause or withdraw our request, because unlike other projects that have been put before ARPA, there seemed to be no public support. We haven't really talked about it too much as a committee, but the consensus seemed to be the same, that this was not quite an undertaking we were ready to commit to. So although the board submitted this and we have not yet discussed it, I would feel comfortable saying, I think we should pause on this particular item without any support. And again, as I presented to you from the Board of Selectmen, it was important for us that it get to the public to hear their input. We still had some concerns on our end, and with zero public support as of yet, I think it's something we need to take a larger look at.
Thank you.
Yeah. So hearing that,
Looking for a motion, Christina?
yeah,
I'll make a motion that we do not fund ARPA 38, the traffic camera system.
Okay.
I'll
There-
second.
yes,
Just,
all right. So any discussion about that? No, anything anyone wants to say? No. All right, I guess we can vote on it then. So the motion on the table is to, what was the word?
To not fund ARPA
to
38.
not fund, okay. ARPA 38, and I'll see who is in favor. All in favor, say aye. Anyone- Anyone opposed? Online, no. Anyone abstain? Okay, so the motion passes. So we now have taken $220,000 right off the top. So that means that there is funding available to fund all of these things. But maybe we don't want to do that. I did, before we go any further, I want to officially make a motion that we bring the two bonus projects, the ARPA 38, ARPA 36 and
32.
32 to a town meeting to vote on and not have it voted on by this committee or commission. I don't know.
I'll second that.
You'll second that? I think that based on what we heard from at the public hearing, that this would be a prudent step for us to take because there does, I was thinking I was the only one thinking that, but once people were hearing about it, and it seems like that is the right way, the proper venue would be for us to recommend to the selectmen, the call a town meeting to vote on those two projects.
My only, oh, go ahead.
Mhm.
So respectfully, kind of taking it all in here. I think changing the rules of the game in the middle, not a great thing. Yeah, you listen, you make determinations. So I'm not really on board with doing that. As I said before, this traditionally, this kind of thing is never usually a very popular item. So my fear is bringing it to a town meeting. Works the opposite way of what I intend, is to buck up and encourage the employees and want to stay and not create this political thing where people are standing up. People have a right to do that. I do want to answer this whole a couple of your things. We hadn't even decided anything yet, so your bluster about blowing the inspector general, nice intimidation factor, I guess, but I take a little bit of exception to that. I also kind of take exception respectfully. This is all. Let's look at the important stuff. Mike's dad is fighting for his life. So this is, I've known Mike and Christina since they were kids. I love those people. So, and I respect their positions. So when somebody, because we have a difference of opinion on how to proceed, that's going to happen in this forum. So I take a little bit of issue with that, which is your right to take issue with anything else. So I get it. From my perspective on this thing is one issue that we forgot is that the Board of Selectmen unanimously, a board has already passed this to us. 2 Ds and 1 R voted unanimously on this plan to send to us. So it's not like we kind of just, this has been deliberated and talked about and all. And I'm comfortable with that. I respect and understand people that might not be comfortable with it. And that's all. I just wanted to give, I talked plain about this one. So that's all. I get you, That's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Mike?
My only thought was if we say, well, we don't want to take action on this, and we think it should go to town meeting, we're not in control of when the town meeting happens or if it even happens. I don't want to be in a situation where the Board of Selectmen says, we sent this to ARPA, we don't feel like it's worth the time and expense related to having a town meeting, so we're not going to, and now we're in a not a stalemate, but we're sort of in purgatory. Because I think that the Board of Selectmen could say, we're not doing it, and they could put it back on us, and we're back into this position. I sort of agree with Tom's statement of changing the process in the middle of the process. And I agree that this isn't an idea that was developed here by this group. It was developed by the Board of Selectmen. And so, I think that point shouldn't be minimized, that it was sort of submitted to us for review rather than something that we just decided would be a good use of funds. That's where I stand right now.
Okay. Anyone else?
I have, Tom, I appreciate your right to speak as I do Elizabeth. I don't appreciate one word that you used, blustered. I didn't find her presentation blustery at all. I found it very professional, straightforward. You added a lot of emotion by putting that word in there. That's all I wanted to say.
I'll retract it. How's
I
that?
don't know if you can, but okay.
Well, I get your point, sure. It's all good.
I don't know, anybody on the commission on the online have virtual hands up? No? I think we did hear a lot of comments on this particular item. I think that there is a lot of support for it. But the thing that we did hear over and over again was that it's the type of thing that should go to town meeting just because of the nature of the fact that half the board can't vote on it or should probably recuse themselves from voting on it. I don't want to say can't because that's a personal choice, but so, I mean, I guess our choice is now to go to town meeting or to vote on it now. And now I'm trying to remember what the motion was that I actually made.
That you wanted to send ARPA 32 and 36 to a town meeting
Yeah,
for consideration.
yeah, so
Can I ask, is the first selectman still woman?
she's there. I know she's in her car.
Sorry.
I mean, you didn't chime in anywhere. I'm just curious where you're at with this. Have you,
Listen, I have some real concerns about the investigation that Ms. Wolf is suggesting be opened and whether or not that's subject to all of our ARPA spending, or is she specifically asked for an investigation into one item, which we have not appropriated. So we've actually not misspent funds because we haven't misspent them. We haven't spent them, we haven't authorized them. So at this point, based on her statements, I have real concerns about spending another dollar of ARPA money.
I'm not sure we know what you mean by that, Erica, that.
Well, she said she's reached out and asked them to open an investigation into our ARPA spending. Until we see what that looks like, is there in question all of the ARPA spending and not going through the proper channels to the people? Or is was her comments to them regarding all of the ARPA spending that has been under a process via a town ordinance? So until I know where that stands, I think any of our spending moving forward is in question.
Well, I think our spending all along, just because even no matter what venue or how it had gone about or whether or not an ordinance was made, it's all in question. It's all subject to audit. It's all, we have to do the paperwork properly. I think it's always been in question. It's always will be. And I think every dime of it or penny of it we have to account for and show how it was done. So I don't think, I mean, if she hadn't told us that she did that, I don't think we wouldn't have known. Maybe someone else has done it too, or, but that doesn't matter because I don't think that we have done anything so far. And I don't think we will do anything inappropriate.
Like you guys, I'm just trying to take it in, understand everything that's going on. So, if you don't mind me asking you directly
Yeah,
through
go ahead.
the
Go ahead.
chair. And now I'm over the like fluster. Okay. Oh, you are. So if the inspector general, in your eyes, because you're the one that brought it up, if the inspector general, say they do something, they do an investigation, and they say, no, Wellington's cool.
Right.
Do you feel better? I mean, I mean, does that make it okay that we approve it in your eyes, or I'm not sure that you have a problem? Well, yes, you do, because you said.
I'm a taxpayer
Sure.
and I'm a
sure.
volunteer elected official, and I took an oath of office,
Bingo.
okay? And so I feel that what I said was I'm struggling with, and to Erica's point, I'm struggling with the ARPA 32 and ARPA 36. So those are the two line items I'm struggling with because it isn't identified to me as a taxpayer. The $17,000 from ARPA 32, is that going to 4 employees, 6 employees, 8 employees? The ARP 36, is that going to all the town employees, some of the town employees? Do volunteers get to be a part of this? Because I know that you guys identify volunteers can't be a part of it. So the intention of the funds, I'm only a taxpayer, and when you open up an allegation, you're only asking for oversight of that federal funding to be investigated. If they come to a position where it's unsubstantiated, of course I'm supportive. And at no point did I say that I wasn't supportive.
No, that's what I'm
All
trying to
I'm
clarify.
saying is we are a little town of
Yeah,
Wellington.
yeah.
I've been here 26 years. This is concerning. Those two line items are concerning. And I would hate to see Wellington come to a point where it's in the newspaper and we did it wrong. So let's do it right. And it's fine. So that's why I went forward.
So we have kind of a couple items then. So it's that, what you said, and then the town meeting, the sentiment that,
Well, because Erica, I might as well finish. Erica did say when I think she was very clear in thought when she said, we should remove line item ARPA 38 because it had 0 public support. That's it. You guys haven't gone forward for public support. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not sure that those that are at the federal level would agree if you didn't go for public support.
Well, so Lisa, so the difference is, so we had our public hearing and the public came and talked about all of these items. In that one in particular, 38 with the cameras, there was a lot of people speaking out against it. And so we heard that, I think, loud and clear. That one was the easy one because we had, I think, some
and the
mixed comments.
selectmen really didn't. It was a two to,
Yeah.
they brought it here, but lukewarm kind of a thing. There was really very little,
But
right?
if I may, there's been multiple conversations from the chair of the Board of Finance and from the chair of ARPA suggesting, guiding you to go to town meeting on those 2 items. They are who we elected to be our oversight, and you all are ignoring them.
No,
Well,
I'm not ignoring
It
it.
seems that
I'm
way,
not ignoring it. I disagree.
and
That's
so do
that's
I,
all. And, you know, it's-
respectfully.
yeah, no.
But the Honorable Christina Milos and the Honorable Erica Wasinski and the Honorable Mike McCoo have spoke, so
Well, Erica doesn't, she doesn't agree, I don't think.
I believed it was up to this commission. I think that was my stance, and I thought it was important that this commission, who has oversight of these funds, have that discussion. We had a public hearing, and like Tom said, we haven't actually allocated any funds for those two projects. So, you know, we haven't even been given the opportunity to respond to the public hearing in any sort of action before a call for
Well, and now-
investigation and inappropriateness was put into effect. So we still have the opportunity to take action, and we haven't been able to do that. This is our first meeting since that public hearing where we would be discussing what we would do moving forward. I think this is the place where we'd be having that discussion.
Just a point of clarification, one of the things that was mentioned is not knowing where the funds were going, who they'd be used, and how it was determined. And I think that was provided as part of the application. It would be for full-time employees. The amount of money provided to each employee was specified, and there was rationale based upon if you weren't there for the duration, it was prorated so that people weren't getting a flat amount. Those things were all part of the application, and I would imagine are available, or I mean, we could print it out. So it wasn't just we want, Board of Selectmen is asking for $32,000 to just spread around through town hall how they saw fit. And it wasn't performance-based in the sense of there would be some evaluation of who gets it and how. It was essentially based upon the amount of time they had worked for the town through COVID. And I think an Excel spreadsheet was provided to
Yes,
demonstrate exactly who.
With the total.
So it was at least included.
But did the town get to see that?
Yes, if they came to our meeting, it's also on the website, on the,
Because under the ordinance of the Established of American Rescue Plan Act established by the town of Wellington, it does say in here, it says, the commission shall develop a multi-year spending plan. Does that mean the bonuses are multi-year?
They are not.
Okay, but
One time.
The way that I
does it
look
say
at
one
these,
time?
yeah, it does.
Yes.
The way that and I'm a little uncomfortable with the back and forth, just for the record. I think it's
Sure.
really not a great way to do this because we're making this into a public hearing, but others aren't here for it. But I think that the multi-year spending plan was addressed in the fact that the ordinance and the guidelines requires that we spend the money and allocate the money, and we have to get it started and then have to get finished within a specific amount of time. But it's not recurring. It doesn't hit the operating budget in any way. It was, again, not performance-based. It was developed by the Board of Selectmen, so that plan and that information would have gone first to their meeting, which they voted on, and then it was submitted to us, received, sent to public hearing, and discussed. So all of these things were discussed and vetted and available.
Okay.
So I guess my concern is that you're asking questions at this point, things that we've reviewed, information which has been presented, and many of these questions were easily answered. But now we're dealing with this potential allegation made to this entity for something that hasn't happened, when almost all of the information other than someone who's concerned about it has been provided and is available. All the documents are available online to anybody. That public portal is active. Anyone can look up the documents, and it's been provided through multiple meetings. So I sort of agree with what Erica suggested, but maybe did not say directly. If we're dealing with an allegation and I don't know what it says, I don't think we should vote on spending any more money until we know. Because I don't think we should sit in a meeting and be told, I've done this thing because I disagree with what the town's doing. And we should say, thanks, and then continue spending money. And that's not because I have any issue with what we're doing. I think that it's completely compliant. I agree with your statement of making this political when it shouldn't be. But I don't think we should say, thanks for your information, and then continue to allocate $200,000 worth of projects. I don't think it makes sense for the town from a risk perspective and wanting to understand what was provided to the.
So if we didn't, if we just said, okay, we'll just wait to see how this, we could be waiting for a year, 2 years before they even say, make contact with the town. I don't know the process, but I don't know that we want to do that, because the whole intention of even creating this commission was to be able to move these projects along quickly. So, no, go ahead.
So, get you. Just trying to figure out in my head maybe a way through. So you can vote this down. I'm gonna move that we table your motion
Mhm,
until we consult with the town attorney for these two items. Your motion,
mhm,
we table your motion until we consult with the town attorney.
okay. To,
So we need to,
like, specifically about what, so I think that can we even bring it to a town meeting? Should we bring it to a town meeting? Those are kind of the same question, but I don't know that we've gotten an answer in writing on exactly, could we, if we wanted to, go to a town meeting on some of these items? We know the ordinance was created, the commission was created, we have the authority, we are the
Yeah.
people who should be deciding where this money goes, and I know that's been settled, but.
so it's part of taking in all that's being said.
Mhm,
What everybody, is part of, so. And especially since we have, and you want to get a second?
oh yeah, is there a second on table?
What's the
There's not.
motion?
Motion to table the original motion.
I'll second it.
Okay. So just, we're at where we're at. Just to kind of get an opinion from the town attorney where we're at. Given the comments and what we've had today, a little cooling off, let's go to town attorney. Let's just
Mhm.
table the motion. That's just my thought right this minute. I mean, I'd love to plow through, get it done, do it. I think we have but let's trying to, the town meeting scenario, still don't like it, but let's get another, I don't know. That's just I'll be quiet now. That's my motion.
Okay, so so that we hold off on just those
Those
two
two,
items
yeah.
before we
Yeah.
go further to consult with the town attorney.
Right.
Okay,
Just for those two.
all right, so Mike, can you tell us what the where we're at?
Well, the motion made and the discussion was a little bit different, but the motion was to table your motion, which was to send 32 and 36 to town meeting.
Right.
And the purpose was basically to seek legal guidance.
Mhm.
So are you amending your motion? You want that to be part of it, that it's tabled until the town can obtain legal guidance? Or is that just?
Well, I could do it separately. Move motion to table separate and then maybe do the second one if you want to do it that way.
Mhm.
But you may not want to table it. You might say, everybody might say, no, let's. I don't know.
Or, okay.
So you keep the original, just motion to table. is what-
Right.
Motion table. All right, so I think we're ready to vote on whether or not we're going to table it pending legal input from the town attorney.
Has the motion been made?
Yes,
The
the
original-
motion was made and then seconded,
Sam
so,
made the motion?
yeah, he made the motion, I seconded it.
Okay.
And I think we're ready to vote unless someone has anything else to say about it.
So a motion to table the original motion until such time as the town. So I thought you just said you were gonna split it up.
Just make a motion to table. That's what,
Hmm.
and then maybe we can follow up after that. So basically that means the next meeting, we can bring it off the table and discuss it some more
Come on,
or decide.
yeah, okay,
So it's just a motion to table.
Yeah.
All in favor of tabling it?
Aye.
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 Rebecca said aye. Jenny? And Robin? I can't tell if you guys are saying aye or nay.
I'm gonna abstain.
Okay.
I'll abstain.
But I think the ayes.
I will abstain as well.
Oh, and you're gonna abstain and you're gonna abstain. So where does that leave us, Mike?
Tom, me, and
And-
Stu are
And Erica,
in favor.
yeah, which is,
Did you vote?
yes, yes.
So I know we've consulted the attorney, right? What do you think, Madam First Select Woman? Just because of where we're at right now, would it be prudent to go back to the town attorney and just to make sure, so we're representing people properly and making sure that we're.
Absolutely. I think it's always important that we take all these steps. Our intention is to always do right by the townspeople and spend this money in the right way. And so I have no problem with us consulting the town attorney. I can ask him to come to a meeting of this commission where, you know, he could speak openly with us at the same time. But I am hesitant to spend any new dollars until such time as we have an opportunity to consult with him on these projects or any others.
So did Tom's motion get
Wherever, yeah. the motion.
approved?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yeses. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because you were a yes.
Yeah.
So there's 4 abstentions, 5 yeses.
So the yeses have it. So it's tabled. All right, well, thank you, everybody.
So may I, Christina, may I make a motion?
Yes,
I move that we hold off on any further appropriations until such time as we can speak with the town attorney.
is there a second for that?
I'll second that.
Okay.
And part of my reason is we don't have I know there's some really important projects that we want to see move forward. I think there's several that had lots of support, but the reality is we don't have those dollars currently. So they would not be able to move forward with anything until that comes. And so I think it's important that we take every necessary step to look at this process from a bigger picture.
We do have $6,548 that's left from tranche 1, but that's not going to get us very far.
But we
If
haven't,
we're just thinking about it that way, but
we're discussing it.
yes.
Okay, he's finished.
Yeah, so, so part of Erica's point is that we don't have the second tranche of funding has not come to the town as we expected on July 1st. So anything that we would be appropriating today would need to come out of that pot of money. So she's saying like part of it is we don't have the money right now anyway. So these people, if we said yes to them, can't act on it until such point as we get the money anyhow. But I was just making the clarification that we do have $6,548 that has not been spent from tranche 1. But
I took what Erica said, with all due respect, Erica, that if there's concern over these 2 items, and there's concern on process for the rest of the
Right.
approvals. Not that the
right,
money didn't come in.
well, that was part, that was
So,
her second part.
okay. I'm not as well versed on parliamentary process as the rest of you are. However, I think if we isolate these 2 items and put them up to some opinion by the attorney and let the public do what they think is appropriate, which they're going to do anyways, I think we should move forward with the other items.
But not seeing the allegations in writing in terms of do they encompass only those 2 projects or all of them. I think the allegations need to be reviewed by the town attorney if our overall process is being questioned.
So you're suggesting that there's a problem with the process?
Based on an allegation against us, yes. I don't have a problem with the process, but somebody does. And that kind of puts it back.
I consider it a pretty
And-
unique opposition.
And I'm not saying we do this indefinitely, but we don't have the cash anyways to get these projects to move forward. So why not hold on to it till
Okay, I know she started recording it when we first started.
I wonder if the internet blipped.
Yeah, it might have.
Oh, I might have a little glitch.
Okay, any other things you want to say about that?
Sorry, I got disconnected there for a minute.
That's how
I
we-
think, yeah, you know, I missed a little of what you all were saying. I know Stuart was speaking, but you know, my concern is our process in question? And seeing is that we do not have the funds, no projects could move forward. No one could begin procurement of any services without those funds. And so I think it's okay to take a step back, take a little bit of time and let the public know that we hear them. And we want to do the right thing, and we're taking those necessary steps, but our process has been called into question. And I think the right thing to do is to pause moving forward and have a broader conversation. I have no problem with the process we've done based on the communications I've had with our town attorney, and I've repeated some of that back here. If the group would rather he come and speak with us, we can discuss what that looks like. I think we have some time. If the state has 30 days, I do not know if they've received their money, but if they did July 1, then they have till August 1 to turn those funds over to us. We have some time to ask the questions and to take all of this very seriously.
Okay.
Just really quickly, I could go either way and on this, because I really think we're fine as far as all of them, the other projects, but I get that there's some real concerns about those two. My concern mostly, a lot of my concern is on how this affects the employees. Honestly, that's how I'm viewing how we're going forward. Is how this affects the people that we're trying to help, or the people that we're trying to do the retention thing. That's so just so that's in my head. How can we move forward, do the least bit of damage on the employee front as possible? That's really where I'm at, and I do I want to do, but take it all in and all that, but that's so, yeah.
So Erica made a motion, right? And so I think, are we ready to vote on? And I think it would mean that we basically would be done for today. And we'll pick it back up again at our next meeting. Well, let's vote first. Let's vote on whether, can you read it back?
Can I ask for a roll call vote?
Mhm. Sure.
Thank you.
Ask Mike to read back the motion.
So we're voting on basically holding off all further appropriations until the town can see new guidance.
Okay, and was it seconded?
Yes, I
Yes, yeah, student, okay. All right, so all in favor?
Question,
Stuart, oh, Stuart,
we will not be accepting new proposals in the meantime.
right, correct, that's still paused. Yeah, all right, so Eric asked that we do just a roll call, so Stuart?
Obviously,
Abstain? Mike?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Donna?
Yes.
Stuart?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Troy? Jenny?
Yes.
I know I saw Robin, but I don't see, oh, there she is. Robin? She's not there.
She's covering the office alone.
Yeah.
She's probably working with someone at the county.
Yeah. And Erica, you're the other one.
Yes. And
Okay.
I'm on camera. I am trying to save internet as I sit here in the rain.
Okay. So it passes. So we're basically on hold for the moment. Our next meeting is in 2 weeks. So that is, yeah, August 1st. August 1st. And maybe by then we'll have an update from the attorney. And we'll know if these funds are even here in town. Yeah. Okay. So there's, the only other thing on our agenda is present to speak.
Thanks for taking the helm. I appreciate it. Seriously.
Yeah.
Excuse me, you on present to speak again?
Yep, we're on present to speak again.
Don Bird, 34 Railfield, Woodford, Connecticut. There was some previous discussion on our proposal with the generators about some concerns, and maybe Laura, you could speak better to it than I could, with concerns with regards to whether the generators are going to power air conditioning or something. And refrigerators. I'll turn it over to you to clarify that information, if you would.
Sure. Yep, so the generators would not provide power to individual units in that way, only in the heat aspect. And that was our biggest concern anyway. And also now that we found out that it also controls the pump for the septic, which is a huge deal because all those apartments are provided with water regardless of whether there's power to them. So people would be flushing anyway, so it's a good thing to be able to pump that into a septic system. The questions that we had were, what about during the summertime? What about the air conditioning for these people? No, it wouldn't power that. That would require probably a generator for every single unit, and that's just not possible. But like I said, our bigger concern is during the winter time. People can freeze to death. People can get hypothermia. These are elderly people, and they tend to like it more warm anyway. So I'm more concerned about providing heat in the wintertime than I am about providing air conditioning in the summertime. People can make sandwiches if they don't have a refrigerator. People can get food in other ways. People can cool off with a battery powered fan and some water, which they have. The heat to me is critical. So that's kind of what I wanted to say.
And I'll just add that these units were designed, well, when they were built anyhow, they were designed in such a way that with a generator powering the utility room panel only, we could provide heat, hot water, one light bulb in each unit that would illuminate the unit, and sight lighting so see people couldn't fall down. And that was the intent of our emergency power for the buildings that we needed, not to power refrigerators. For that matter, even the plug for some of these oxygen generators, that's not covered in our power plan at this point. But it would be nice to have generators, as we said, just to clarify one last time, to power the sewage ejector pump, heat, hot water, and a safety light within each room, along with any, how we call it. So, okay,
Okay,
thank you.
all right. Thanks for that. Anyone else want to speak?
how much money did you say you had?
So far, just a
Oh,
summary,
you had left over from tranche one, is that the rest?
$6,548.11. And there's $556,489.11 left in tranche 2. That, yeah, is waiting, so. Okay, so with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second, all right, all in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, thanks, everyone. We'll see y'all on August 1st.
You'll see, talk to Bill about